Nagaland laga Power aro Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kenye pra Friday de alak mamla kan logode Indigenous status laga mamla kan opor press briefing ekta dishe. Indigenous status laga mamla de tai koishi to state de itia sobse dangor mamla ekta ase aro Indigenous identity do transfer nohoile bi award nohoile bi inherit kuribole na paribo. Itu do khali lineage, history aro ancestral settlement pra he hoi ase. Kenye janaishe manukun Nagaland December 1, 1963 laga agide settle kurigina ase itu kan permanent citizenship digina ase kintu edu pratai khan ge indigenous banai dia nai kuishe state government pra register of indigenous inhabitant of Nagaland noholibi RII RIN implement kuribole planned ase kuigina itu pra kun indigenous garne qualify kure itu kan ge janibo kuishe tai kintu janaishe itu process pra discriminate kuribole garne nohoi holibi asol Janigina future de confusion nohole nimide ase aro charta non naga tribes kan laga enumeration exercise jawole opor Kenye koishe kunba group ra khilaf kri ase aro court de bhi jai ase nohole bi itu bishi lagya ekta ase koishe
issue that is confronting the state government and the people as a whole is the indigenous status. Earlier, I was asking you if you've had some more discussions with the parties concerned. Today, it did not come up in the capital because we were slated to meet the tribals yesterday, our tribal organizations. But our brothers from the eastern sector would not make it due to positive time and information. So it was postponed. But nevertheless, this issue has been doing the rounds and over and on the government has tried to assert our contention of what and who is indigenous status means and should be conferred. So here, I think I have discussed this issue with you sometime back, but we want to again assert the position of the government that despite all said and done, whatever it may be, indigenous, that very word in the English dictionary, I don't know which ones you use. I use all three, Webster's, Chandler's and Oxford also. You may refer to it also, but it means people evolving naturally. It means the original owners and the original settlers who have been there, occupied it as occurrence naturally by evolution or by occupation and taking ownership of that particular land through, I would say, war and have been occupying it ever since then as owners. So here there are no two interpretations or aspects of it. Our people have to understand. Our land has undergone a lot of changes through ages, you see, centuries together. So the upper ridges have never fallen into the hands of any other power. It is the lowlands adjacent to the Assam state just now, which we have a lot of dispute with the government of Assam and us today. Here, there are different interpretations and versions that those, especially the 4 sub-tribes who have come to be a part of the scheduled tribes in our state, started claiming as indigenous citizens of the state. I think that is irrelevant. We have to understand. Among them, the Garos, they are mostly originated from present-day Meghalaya and Kacharis and Mitris. They are also more or less indigenous to Assam. And the Kukis, they are scattered around in many states in the northwest. We would not like to delve into their migrative route, which is further south, but that's an entirely different problem. So, when the state was formed, our yesteryear leaders were kind enough to accommodate many who have settled before 1963, the 1st of December, and grant them permanent citizenship. Granting them that status need not necessarily mean that they have become indigenous. Not that anyone can transfer this status to another. It is just not possible. It cannot be awarded also, nor can it be transferred also. No, you just can't do that. It is something which has to do with history and settlement and ownership. So, today, when we, the government, have said that in order to implement the register of indigenous inhabitants of Nagaland, because following that we have so many other social political problems, like granting of inner line permits, implementing it strictly, and also the indigenous certificates, along with it, the permanent residence certificate, and all others that is to do with the citizenship of the state. But for more than 60 years, we have not been strict on trying to differentiate and segregate who are indigenous, who are not. So today, the government of the day under our Chief Minister, Dr. Rio, I think have resolved in fact that it is time about. It's about time that we start getting down to the smallest details so that the confusion among us will not be carried beyond our generation, our present day. There will be clarity on all fronts, and it will be efficient for the government and the administration to start implementing the policies of the present day government. That is how, when the government had given time for the other tribes to have a revision of the enumeration, to write down the names and families of those who have settled here before 1963, instead of cooperating with the government and taking the opportunity, they have started rebelling and challenging the government's order for enumeration of their citizens here in the state. So they have dragged the government to court and have said that the revision should not take place like other Naga tribes whose enumerations are not taking place. They too, there should be no enumeration. But that is wrong. Whereas the other tribes of Nagaland do not have any family relations from outside of the state, excepting 1 or 2 cases. The general public are confined since time immemorial to territorial jurisdiction of the present state, the other tribes, be it the Kukis, the Mikiris, the Kacharis, and the Garos, they are migrative in nature and they have percolated into that. So we want to know exactly our proper citizens prior to 1963. This, I think, should not be misunderstood. We are not discriminating, it is for clarity. And news have been going around, you will know better. Your own counterparts in neighboring states, some have, I think, very vigorously trying to propagate the idea that the Mapu has been leased out for 99 years or so, and that it was the kingdom of Dima, the Kachari king, and all sort of things built upon that type of history. But we should be very clear about this. We will discuss more on this someday, hopefully, in the proper place of the matter. But history tells us, prior to 1228 AD, there was a Kachari kingdom there. But when the Ahoms came, all the way from Thailand, very strong, very good warriors, they came and then they completely took over the Kachari kingdom. So, ever since 1228, Kachari king, the monarch and their people have already abandoned their own kingdom and has gone to what you call today as North Kachari and sea, Africa. And from there on, they went further down to Kachang district, which is a part of Assam today, and have settled there. Some remnants might have slowly come again as raiders or whatever, and have come and settled down in the Mapu many centuries later. So after them, you see, 1228, then came the Ahoms after that. In 1228, then again Ahoms were defeated by the Burmese generals who came on the expedition, completely routed, and they took over. So our Ahoms had to flee. They fled, and next, after the Burmese occupied, it was the English, the British soldiers who came again, and they defeated the Kukis, Burmese on all fronts. And after the Treaty of Yandabo, 1826, I think, they have surrendered and they went back. Burmese went back. So, after the British came the government of India through the Assam province. And it was during British India that Naga Hills was established in 1866. Prior to that, they had already established a subdivision. So we were already being administered partly by the Englishmen who first set foot in our land. And the administrative structure arrived then. So power keeps changing hands. You see, authority keeps changing. So in about 700 to 800 years plus, how can the occupants of those era come and say today that they are the indigenous citizens of them once they came? And that is completely irrelevant. It was once upon a time. But if you study history, in so many instances in the world, there were empires who have conquered different parts, like you say, Mongolia. What about the king, the empire, Genghis Khan, who had the mightiest and largest empire in the world ever seen? It extended up to Eastern Europe. Yeah, you look at that. Now, supposing they are to claim on the basis of history that those are theirs, who would agree? After all, in due course of time, they have again receded. Or for that matter, the Greater India. The Greater India was today what you call Pakistan. You have Bangladesh. You have even a portion of Afghanistan and so many others. Now, they claim on the basis of history that they are the indigenous people. Who would agree? Time changes. Power keeps changing hands. And so that is how history is. Well, today I think we should be clear about those things. We will delve more into it. But we wish that people do not get agitated or rebel against the government's policies and work in cooperation so that we will have peace on all fronts of understanding.
CM has mentioned about this issue on several occasions that these 4 tribes has to listen to the government. So if they continue to rebel like this, is the Nagaland Legislative Assembly has the power to take away the status that has been granted to them?
The stakeholders, the tribal organizations, are the stakeholders. And we are a people's government. Our chief minister always seeks the opinion of our tribal leaders first, because Article 371A is very clear about the powers vested to our customary authorities, that especially anything to do with land and its resources and transfer of ownership is very sensitive. So the government places so much importance on our tribal leaders that every now and then we wish to confer with them on such matters. So this time we have missed the opportunity, but in due course of time, I'm sure we'll be having a detailed discussion with all the stakeholders on such matters also. What I'm saying is just more or less personal observation.
So the government does have the power to take away the status granted to them?
For such citizens, they should be cautious in their movements and cooperate with the government of the day, because government make rules and they may confer or they may deprive or they may make certain policies which may change the course of administration also. It is all at the government's.
So what is the status of the court case?
Court has issued a stay that the government not go enumeration, undertake enumeration of these 4 tribes just now. So if that is the case, then the government has no option but to curtail all other benefits to them that has to do with the status of this people. So, yeah, there are other things.
Push things to shove.
If so, then the government may be forced to review whatever has been offered to them. Scheduled tribe is one, it is offered, but the granting indigenous status is another. Okay.
Sir, one last question. The Joint Coordination Committee on IAS induction, they have just extended their, pen-down strike from tomorrow. So what is your say on that?
I'm not aware of that.
They
But
have just
initially
issued a
it was
statement.
3 days.
Yeah, but they've extended it, starting tomorrow.
I see. Well, the cabinet subcommittee will meet them at the earliest possible time, and we will try to find a solution to this amicably.
The 20th meeting will be along with them, or is this the public?
With
With them.
this group. We will invite